Hi there, in this video I want to show you how cruise control and a speed limiter also works on a Citroen. In this case it's a C5 Aircross. So the first thing you want to familiarise yourself with the little control that's in behind the steering. So it's underneath the indicator stalk, just behind the steering wheel. So we're going to start off by using the speed limiter. So if you want to activate the speed limiter, the first thing we'll do is in behind here on the stalk, flick it up to limit. When you flick it up to limit, when you look at your screen, you'll also then see limit paused, or limiter paused even, and then press the button on the outside and that's activated it. Now we can increase or decrease the speed limit we've set. So upwards, there's a little button in behind or to them, upwards or downwards, and that's going to either increase the speed limit that we want or decrease the speed limit we want. This isn't the actual road speed limit, it's something we're setting ourselves, but it means when we accelerate we won't exceed the speed limit. Now if you press the outside, that deactivates it, so that means the limiter is now paused, no longer in operation. Okay, let's consider a situation where you have the speed limiter set around maybe 110 kilometers an hour. You need to floor the car and get around something fast. So you can floor the car, and if you put your accelerator all the way to the floor, it will go past the speed limiter. It'll basically override it. But then when you're finished with that overtaking maneuver, once you let your foot off the accelerator, it'll eventually resume that speed limit that you'd set. Okay, the second function that's more popular, cruise control. So flick downwards on the stalk, and now you'll see it's become available on the screen. Cruise control is now available. It's not on, it's just available. Okay, to activate it, the first thing we're going to do is get to the desired speed we want. And then if we look at this control at the top, I can just press the up, and that means now it's activated cruise control. In this case, we can see the cruise control is now activated at 111 kilometers per hour. This essentially means then we can take our foot off the accelerator and the car will maintain the speed that we want. We can regulate the speed, again, behind the stalk. You can press the buttons, so upwards or downwards. And what that means then is you'll see here the actual speed is increasing upwards or downwards, depending on whatever we desire at that particular time. After that, consider a scenario where basically you've set the cruise control to 111 kilometers an hour in this case, but you have to accelerate and pass out something. So you floor the car, that'll override the cruise control, but when you let your foot off the accelerator, it'll, over the next maybe 30 to 60 seconds, it'll gently fall back to, in this case, 111 even kilometers per hour that you've predetermined, and eventually it will fall back all the way and rest there. So in other words, it's resuming the cruise control that you had set before you decided to overtake something, so you don't need to do anything on the stalk. To conclude the cruise control, I can either tap the brake pedal, which finishes it, so you'll see cruise paused up here, or alternatively I can press the outside button on the stalk, and once I press that, then again you'll also see a similar message which comes up as cruise paused. So that means it's still available, but you're finished using it for that particular period of driving. One other point of note I want to put in is that when you're driving and you have cruise control engaged, in this case it's radar guided. So while I want to do 120 kilometers an hour, the van up here is doing about 115. So my cruise control is pulling me back to 115, even though I want to do 120. It's trying to keep a regulated distance behind the vehicle in front. So I really hope somebody gets some use out of this in terms of how their cruise control and speed limiter work. Thanks for watching.